Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dio.
Hello, welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. Still Hard Factor 90.3 Nigeria Info and Hearing Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. Conversation continues. Thanks for staying tuned. It's 7 minutes gone past 4 p.m. and we're discussing the situation with the People's Democratic Party. Well, maybe understandably, as another election year draws nearer, we might be expecting plenty of drama playing out rather in the political scheme or in the political in political circles or on that sector, if you will, and political parties are an integral part of the political circles and the entire political process indeed. And of course the PDP being one of the major parties in the country, no doubt it will be under the radar and in the spotlight as well, if you will, as far as these permutations, combinations and machinations are concerned. Well, the issue of its national leadership, especially the chairmanship position, has been one in contention, especially in more recent times. And who occupies that position may be topping the list as far as issues the PDP is attempting to resolve at the moment. Now, this was published sometime last week by The Guardian. PDP governors hold emergency meeting. All 13 governors for the PDP have been summoned to an emergency meeting in Abuja on Thursday. Once again, note this was last week. A statement from the PDP Governors Forum signed by its DG explained that the chairman of the forum and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, after consultation with his colleagues, agreed to convene the meeting. Now, the meeting was to discuss, amongst other things, recent developments in the PDP. The governors enjoined all PDP members and stakeholders to exercise patience as efforts are being made to ensure continued stability of the party in the days ahead. Is the PDP stable right now? Is it on a crash course even at the moment? Or is everything well within the party and all that's playing out is nothing short of drama that is to be expected and a family affair, as parties are prone to reminding us, and all to be resolved by the time elections come here. These and other related matters we're discussing at the moment, and joining me in the studio for this conversation is the chairman of the People's Democratic Party here in Rivers State, Ambassador Desmond Akawor. Chairman, good evening to you. You're welcome to the show.
Oh, Daniel, good evening. It's good to be here again.
Great. So let's get before we start. I must ask you this, and I asked you this earlier on, but I must ask as well for the purpose of your members and followers. There's so much happening in your party right now, even at the national level, and I guess even at the state level as well. You may have issues you're dealing with. How does the chairman of a party as yours navigate these murky waters? Is it affecting your life personally? Do you find it stressful?
Well, Daya, I can tell you this is part of the job, and I can completely assure you that I enjoy it. Stable, my blood pressure is normal, and I can assure you clearly that we are stronger than we've ever been as a political party. All
right, I'm going to ask you that then. So, is all well with the People's Democratic Party at this time?
As a family, yes, we may have had our troubled time, but being the only political party today, I stand to be misquoted. Being the only political party with a family that you can say that have elders, we've gotten to the point that we've navigated to a level we said we are stable, we are okay, we are where we are today.
Well, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Aminu Tambuwal, called an emergency meeting. I don't think it's someone calls an emergency meeting if something wasn't wrong. You only call emergency meetings when something's not right. Otherwise, you probably have periods when meetings are to be held. And even when you may need to call some meeting, you can give your members considerable time to attend that meeting. So an emergency meeting connotes that something or all is not right. Why was this emergency meeting called? And I imagine by virtue of your position, you may be aware as to the issues that were discussed, and most important, the resolutions reached. Could you respond to that?
Well, Dario, as a political party as large as ours, with offices in the 774 local government of this country in the wards, and what you may call the strongest opposition party, with that kind of family who once ruled this country for 16 years, there is no way there will not be family issues once in a while. And once such things come up, especially as we are getting ready for 2023, and getting ready for a convention, the Governors Forum or elders, they have no other option than to assemble themselves to sort out the issue. I can let me mention to you that outside the meeting of the Governors Forum, other meetings have been held, and those rough edges have been smoothened out.
So you do admit that all of what's playing out right now in the PDP is because of 2023?
Yes, definitely. Not only just, of course, I'm sure if you look at the ruling party, whatever game you see playing out now, whatever activity you see, is preparatory to the 2023 election. And it's usual in political activities.
So why was this emergency meeting called? What were the issues discussed and resolutions of that meeting?
Of course, there was an issue that came up right from the ward level to the national level, where the issue of management of the party was called to question, and quite a lot transpired with the suspension of the former national chairman. And we got to the point that the Governors Forum, the elders, the Board of Trustees, they decided to intervene. And the meeting you mentioned about the Governors Forum was one of those interventions to see if there is a way out. And since then, many other meetings have been held, like I mentioned to you, and I can tell you as of today, the party is stable, the rough edges have been smoothened.
One of the previous meetings that were held it seemed also, we had narratives similar to that which you say now, that the rough edges have been smoothened, everything's fine now. Your conventions, national convention that was to hold sometime much later in the year, was moved forward, and in a bid to placate all the sides and reach some sort of resolution, only for that to, well, then we had the court cases, left, right, center. We'll come to that in a moment. But if you will, I'm going to ask you once again. Maybe I'm sensing you don't want to respond to that, but I'm not quite certain. That's why I'm asking you again. What were the resolutions reached at the last meeting of the Governors Forum?
Well, with the last meeting of the Governors Forum, it was agreed that the convention should go on October, and then that the Deputy National Chairman South should moderate the issues and hold forth, since there are court orders stopping the former National Chairman from presiding over the National Working Committee.
Interesting, these court orders, by the way. I imagine you're aware that the CJN summoned the Chief Justices of some states to Abuja to discuss irregularities with ex-party orders and other orders of court flying left, right, center. Even the other states are involved as well. But River State is one of such states. And interestingly, what's playing out in your party right now with orders from different courts across the country, I believe it will be a part of, or did form part of the discussions the CJN had with those chief judges of the state, including the one of River State. What do you make of that, especially your party's role in all of these court judgments flying all over the place?
For our party and the state, I'm not part of the judiciary anyway. The chief judge of the federation has his administrative duties to perform. But of course, some members of the party went to court in the state, and only for us to hear that another court in KB of almost the same jurisdiction and level now gave a counter ex parte order, which for us, we found it as strange. I'm sure that's one of the things that triggered the issue of invitation.
Then your party must went to Calabar again.
Yeah, because when we discovered that they've gone to KB, some individuals, from Cross River, decided to go to the court there as well to intervene on the matter. But those are administrative procedures the judiciary has to handle. Well,
obviously, I wouldn't even ask you to deliberate on how the judges choose to do what they choose to do. That's a different conversation altogether. But parties usually, more often than not, hold at the party supreme. And not that aggrieved members cannot go to court, but the party always insists, and even the courts have told us this as well, that internal mechanisms of the party must be completely exhausted, and where issues cannot be resolved, then aggrieved parties may proceed to court. Now, these persons that have gone to court, starting from here in River State, and then the ones in Kebbi went there, the ones in Calabar went there, where the internal party mechanisms completely utilized and exhausted, and to the point where there was no headway. Would you say that's what led to these persons going to the court, starting from here in River State?
Dayo, let me mention to you precisely that was just the issue. When the issue that came up at Ward 5 in Andoni local government was flagged up to the local government level, down to the state level, elders had to intervene. Even at the state level here, we have a elders committee of the PDP led by Chief Ferdinand Alabraba. They intervened severally on this matter, up to the point where they had to send, elders had to send delegation to Abuja to interface with the former national chairman of the party when he said it was not convenient for him to be home because of activities there. Elders were sent to Abuja to still meet him, to intervene. And when we discovered that all the promises, all the assurances given to the state, that the state interest given to the state by him, that the state interest is more paramount compared to his own personal interest, we discovered that he was still firing and hitting against what all that proposals have been made. Some individuals, of course, had no option than to approach the courts.
What is the position of the PDP here in Rivers State as regards the status of Prince Uche Secondus? As
of today, he remains suspended.
Yes, I get that, and we'll get to that. What I'm saying is, as regards his position as the chairman, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, what is the position of the PDP in Rivers State?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Okay. That he was suspended at the ward level, of course, rectified by the LG and the state level.
In other words, the PDP in Rivers State does not want Uche Secondus as the party's national chairman.
As of today, yes, he's no longer a national chairman. We now have an acting chairman.
Because the PDP in Rivers State does not want Uche Secondus?
Yeah, because you completely derailed from the tenets of the party.
Let's talk about that. When you say that elders have tried to mediate, he was called for a meeting, went to Abuja, because the state's interests should supersede his. Now, what are these state's interests precisely that are causing the problem that warrants the PDP in Rivers State not wanting Uche Secondus as its national chairman?
Well, like Dayo, of course, I will definitely mention one key point. You remember, at a point, the former state chairman of APC, in the person of Chief Ibiamu Ikanya Davis, decamped to People's Democratic Party. And, of course, he was received by the governor, and that was a major harvest for us as a party. Only for us to realize that at Ward 5 in Andoni, where he comes from, the same word with the national chairman, the national chairman gave an instruction that he should not be received. He should not be put as a member of the party after we consider that as a bumper harvest. And we consider that as completely anti-party activity. We consider that as going against the progress of the party. And let me mention to you, June 5th, June 3rd, I wrote a letter to all wards that they should furnish us with the names of party members that are dead, party members that have not paid their dues, and party members, one way or the other, that have decamped. Amongst the wards that responded was Ward 5 in Andoni. And it clearly showed that he has not paid his dues for the past 4 years. And for our party, in the constitution of our party, it's an offense. For 6 consecutive months, 2 quarters, if you have not paid your dues, your membership of the party is in question. That issue was kept pending because we had to approach the national to present some of these issues. And then at that ward level, a lot of party members were completely balkanized, and they were on different camps. And then, of course, when these issues were presented to the elders and they started intervening, the news from the national now started coming to us and becoming embarrassing. We are 7 members of the National Working Committee had to resign. And of course, they clearly gave that the message of the reason why they resigned was that of maladministration, that quite a lot is going bad at the party level. Of course, he saw the way he supervised the decamping of major members of the party. And as an opposition group, it was considered as if nothing was going on. 3 senators decamped, 3 governors decamped from the party, and the reasons for their decamping was given as one way or the other of the management of their various congresses. which he supervised. So the state and the world, they consider that these things are becoming embarrassing, and there is no way we can tolerate this. The world at their own level, when they discovered that the world was no longer in order, of course they had to write the LGA and indicating his suspension. Of course, the LGA forwarded the same letter to the state level, and we had to approach the BOT and National Working Committee on the same issue, and inviting him. The world did not just suspend it; they invited him to come and explain some of the issues, of which he decided not to respond. And like I said, there were several interventions by the elders of the party at the state level. And of course, I'm sure that you remember when all this heat were on, the national, the BOT, the Board of Trustee members, the Governors Forum, the Ministers Forum, the Forum of PDP chairman had to intervene. That was what led to the issue of calling for a convention in October. And everybody saw it as win-win situation. And he was in that meeting, he agreed. Only for us to discover, of course, the following week there's supposed to be a NEC meeting that would have, the National Working Committee meeting that would just, of course, invite the NEC for deliberations. Because of the death of one of the senators, Senator Mantu, that meeting of Tuesday did not take place. On Wednesday, he had to approach NEC with another letter saying that the October convention can no longer hold. And even the meeting for NEC that is supposed to convene the following week, that's not possible anymore. And members of the NEC reacted seriously against it. And of course, that meeting was disrupted. The following day, we saw him flying to Otta and Niger on consultation, still on his program for second tenure. And of course, to propagate himself up to the end of, against whatever decision that was taken by the elders. So these are things the members of the public should understand. It's not just that somebody came somewhere and said he must be stopped. No, there are key issues that showed clearly that he was no longer working for the interests of the party, both from the ward level to the national.
Now, you suggest that the issues at the ward level or from that emanated from Rivers State here are completely unconnected with what's happening at the national level. But there are allegations and speculations rife that the travails of Uche Secondas, whether from within the state, but especially at the national level, emanated and is being championed and spearheaded from here in Rivers State.
Dayo, when you have a son who is dancing naked at the marketplace, as a father, I'm sure you will not keep quiet. You will not keep quiet. I mentioned issues that took place at the ward level, which of course elders have been intervening. Committees were set up, panels were set up to at least invite him, and he never responded. And before we got the messages of huge embarrassments that he had caused the party at the national level, and all those, nobody, no parent will keep quiet. And at the end of the day, the hammer was not just on him. I said the elders of the party, the Board of Trustee members, Governors Forum, Ministers Forum, and Forum of Chairmen had to intervene. And that's where we are today. But as of today, we got to the point, with all the court cases that came up, because he was not able to listen to these elders, he's been pronounced to remain suspended. And today we have Elder Yemi Akiyomi as the acting chairman of the party, the former deputy national chairman, South.
Now, you talk about the bounty for the party with former APC stalwarts in the state, campaign to your party.
Yes,
and that's, as far as political calculations are concerned, that would be a good thing for the PDP, I believe. Now, does the PDP in Rivers State not consider it a loss? I imagine that having someone from any state, for that matter, from your state, being the national chairman of your party, especially a party as the PDP, would be as big as the PDP, would be considered a bounty as well. So does Rivers PDP not consider it a loss that someone from your state, who is the chairman of the party, will cease to be the chairman of the party, and somebody else from another state might occupy that position? Wouldn't that be a loss to PDP in Rivers State?
Dayo, it's really unfortunate, but it's for the vessel to continue to sail. It's better to remove the journal from the vessel.
It is Hot Factor 90.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt to discuss the situation with the People's Democratic Party. With me in the studio, the chairman of the PDP here in Rivers State, Ambassador Desmond. Akawor. We go for a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, and you're well within your rights to join the conversation as well. When we return, do please stay with us.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk. Keeping up with political issues and developments around you, only on Nigeria Info.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dayo.
Welcome back. Still Hot Factor 90.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dayo. 29 minutes to go before 5 p.m. And we're discussing still the travails of the People's Democratic Party. I imagine members of the party may not use the word travails, but what word would you rather use, Chairman?
We were able to handle our issues.
As the chairman of the PDP here in Rivers State, Ambassador Desmond Akawor. You're welcome to join the conversation via WhatsApp on 0809-030-6416. We are streaming live on facebook.com /Nigeria Info PH. Do drop a comment there or question. We'll get to those as soon as possible as well. The phone lines will be opened any moment right now. Numbers to call 0817 923 0002 or 0003 0817 923 0007 as well. But before then, Chairman, still with you now. So you mentioned a while ago the challenges, the issues, from the ward level and all of that, and even the what you termed embarrassing conduct of the chairman, or you refer to him as former chairman, at the national level as well. And I said, Howard, earlier that there are allegations, speculations rife that the his travails emanate from here, but more specifically now, there is speculation as well that the political aspirations of or future political aspirations of the current River State Governor, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, might be at the heart of the travails plaguing the Prince Uche Secondus.
Well, let me just tell you completely that is completely false. The governor of the state is still serving as the governor of River State. And of course, you know how busy he is. The issues I mentioned, not accepting Chief Ikanya at Ward 5, a big fish we considered as a bumper harvest, has nothing to do with the aspiration of Nyesom Wike. Not paying his dues as a national chairman of the party has nothing to do with the aspiration of Nyesom Wike. Yes, if you said whatever he has done has gone against the aspiration of the Southern Governors Forum, I will say yes. Because of course you remember the Southern Governors met in Asaba and they took a decision. One of the decisions was that the presidency should be zoned to the South. And if him, as the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, is still putting powders in his gun to fire to go back for a second tenure, he's going against the program of the governors from the South.
How does the second tenure, which is at that position?
If I need to go content, the South and that president zone to, of course, we can claim the position of chairmanship of a party and go as well and tell the nation that we still want to keep the presidency. Of course, these are political signals that nobody will tolerate.
And is the current River State Governor gunning for the top job in the country, the office of the president?
Dayo, let me mention it clear to you that our governor, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, has not mentioned to anybody that he has aspiration for either presidency or vice presidency. He has not. He's busy today delivering dividends of democracy to Rivers people. And I can assure you, the 29th of May, 2023, Nyesom Wike will move from a project commissioning site to the handover to a new governor.
Story here, published today actually, incidentally, cut to the Vanguard newspaper. I'm going to read right now. It's captioned, "Only neck can suspend me, Secondus blows hot." Some part of that story. Against the backdrop of reports that he has been suspended by the River State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, suspended chairman of the party, Prince Uche Secondus, has said only the National Executive Committee, NEC, has the power to do so. In a late reaction on Wednesday night, Secondus, through his media advisor, said those behind the reports are bent on destroying the party. Quote, "The media office of Prince Uche Secondus ordinarily should not..." Okay, it goes on and on and on. But you get the story. So he's saying only the neck of the party can suspend him. And I've also read that the way the party is structured, for someone who is occupying such an exalted position as national chairman, he can be suspended at ward level. That even if he's going to be suspended, which he can, such such decisions will be made or at least concluded at the national level and not the ward level. What's the position on that?
Tayo, when you had the board of trustees, the governors forum, the ministers forum, and the forum of chairmen holding a meeting on this issue, following what came out from the ward, and they said they are going to intervene, and in his presence, the intervention took place, and he agreed on all the words that were put down. Only for him the following week to start globetrotting, going to Niger, going to Ota, to continue the case, and saying that all that they've agreed is no longer possible. What do you do? That means he's not ready to listen to the elders. Of course, that means he's only not ready to look at the constitution of the party. Members have no option than to go to court. And that was the only option. And that was actually what made them to go to court. I mentioned it that at the ward level, they set up a committee inviting him to come and defend those allegations, of which, of course, if that is not done, he remains suspended. So, if he's not ready, and today he sees a particular clause in the law as something that will cover him, that is dangerous. In this part of our country, no elder will stay at home and allow the goats to die white-tied somewhere. So for him not to listen to the elders of the party, I'm sure he's going for something.
Talking about the decisions that were reached earlier on, which you said that he was party to, which you now say he's reneging on, were part of those resolutions or agreements that he would not run for a second term?
No, part of the resolution was that the acting chairman of the party currently should continue as acting chairman, and that the convention should be in October.
No, I'm referring to previous agreements. When it was agreed that the convention will move forward to October.
Of course, nobody has said he should not run.
Okay.
But the issue that we are looking at the convention now, we are looking at the survival of the party. And then it was clear that instead of the November, December, that the convention should take place in October. And as the national chairman of the party, who is in charge of the NEC should convene the National Working Committee, the NEC should convene a meeting of the NEC, so that the NEC will be able to take certain decisions. And only for him to come and say it is not possible for him to invite NEC to be able to take such decisions.
You say that nobody has asked him to not run for a second term.
Nobody told him not to run.
Yet you say that Southern governors took a position that the ticket for the presidency should go to the South.
Yes.
And his position as national chairman of the party will circumvent that agreement.
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile this, that nobody asked him to not run for a second term?
Southern governors are for the South. We still have the Northern governors. But our Southern governors took a position that they will want the presidency of the country to come to the South. For him, as an individual, would have known, of course, as a politician, of which he is a very strong one, of course, formidable person, he should have known that it is now time to come home. The position he's occupying is on behalf of the South. He didn't go there as just an Andoni man. He went there because the chairmanship of the party was zoned to the South. And if the Southern governors had taken a decision that they now, their desire is that the presidency should come to the South, he should have known that there's no point trying to rock the boat by kicking and struggling for the second tenure. I mean, these are political calculations.
Lines are officially open. Join the conversation. You have the numbers already, I believe. I've got... Okay. Once again, 0817 93 0002, 0817 93 0003, and 0817 93 0007 are the numbers to call. We're live on Facebook once again on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. Emeka Agra via Facebook goes, how can Prince Uche Secondos not being a financial member and they voted him last 4 years? He said Secondos supervised the campaign of the governors. Didn't Wike say those governors can go because they can't win elections? How do you respond to that in a moment? But let's take a call from Emmanuel now. Emmanuel, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Straight to your comment or question, please.
Thank you, Ambassador, sir.
Emmanuel, straight to your comment or question.
Yeah, my question is just direct. All these things the state chairman has said, and from what he has said so far, this problem with the former chairman has been for some time. Why didn't they tackle it then? After sending the letters to Abuja, why now? Then secondly, what is the interest of the state, either chairman or the governor, to national matters that has to do with either the national chairman?
Emmanuel, that matter has been addressed already. Good. I did ask the chairman that a while ago, but I think we'll take the earlier part of his question, which was between when and when, what was the duration between when the elders are trying to address those issues and the issues that we have right now? I think he's concerned about that.
Yeah. The question came up about the dues. When did Windows notice that he was no longer paying his dues? I mentioned to you that I wrote all the ward chairmen 3rd of June to furnish me with such information. And of course, he was one of those ones that clearly was indicated he had not paid any dues. Of course, when the dues are paid, receipts are issued. Dayo, let me let you know that the fact of life is that it is only when a masquerade misbehaves that they will tell him the tree they use in having the head. Some of these issues, when they came up, of course, the messages were passed to the elders and discussions were on until when we saw the embarrassing situation, and of course, the one of David Ikanya, where we saw ourselves being completely disorganized as a party at the state level. And of course, all these issues now came to the fore, and of course, decisions have to be taken.
Very good. Andy from Romodema, you're welcome. Please, straight to your comment or question. Go ahead.
I have two questions for him. One, the issue that came up that they said he should step down before the meeting was that he was making some party members like the governors and others lose interest and left the party. I want to ask him one. Do you know that the present governor of Ebonyi State that left the party accused the governor of Rivers State that he is behind the reason why he left the party? That is one. And secondly, when you're saying that constitution of the party is superior, do you know that before now, all the chairmen that came and left were also done the same way? The same way this same chairman is agitating that the constitution should be the paramount thing in the party. Why is it always that the PDP has always wanted in the past and presently for their chairman not to complete their tenure? Thank you very much.
Chairman?
Well, number one, about the Ebonyi State governor, the comment you said the Ebonyi State governor made. Ebonyi State governor made a comment, a consequential comment, because there were issues that came up where we saw that the national chairman mishandled the Congress in Ebonyi State, just like what we experienced in Cross River. And a lot of things were blown out of proportion. Of course, because he's from River State, any decision taken by the national chairman were all attributed to the governor of the rivers of the state. So, and these things continued where elders said these issues, the way things are being handled. Of course, you had issues where the national handled issues as if party members at such a place like Ebonyi saw themselves as handling financial things as against the interests of the party. That was clearly why the state governor, of course, had to make comment against his colleague who is from River State, because, of course, for him, decisions taken by the national chairman were attributed to those instigated by the governor of River State. I think that's clearly the issue. About what happened to the various chairmen of PDP, my brother, it's only a fruit, a tree with a ripe fruit that the children will stone. PDP, of course, has been on a situation where people struggle for position at that level. And once we get to the level of the areas of convention, there is, of course, that attempt for people to go in. And PDP is equally a party that they have so much searchlight on the chairman. And once things are not going on well, the elders are such that decisions will be taken. That's the only body today. That's the only party with board of trustees.
Doesn't mean that
the current party, the ruling party today, they have no board of trustees. These are body of elders, and when they stand up to speak, it is difficult for anybody to go against them.
Does it mean that all the chairmen, or most or all the chairmen produced by the PDP, at some point always falter and flounder? That's
what I'm saying. So towards the end when we are getting close to the convention, there will always be issues that will make the elders to intervene. And sometimes, most of them, I can tell you, almost all of them, Adedayo is here. Most of them are still members of the party. Okusile is there. So they all still members of the party. But they were not just made chairman as a change of their name. They were made chairman to hold forth for the party. So if there's something that goes wrong, they will be asked to step aside and remain as party members. So it's not a strange thing that has happened. It can only happen because the party is party that everybody's envious of their level of performance and activities.
We got Emmanuel from Loricre on the line. Hi, you're welcome. Straight to your comment or question.
Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Hi, go ahead. Straight to your comment or question.
Yeah. Chairman, good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Yeah. I want to ask a simple question. Yesterday, the state publicity secretary of PDP was on wave FM for interview like this. And the reason he gave why Sofendus was removed is because he never attracted any development in Adoni. And today, you are on air as a PDP chairman, telling us that the reason why is because he never allowed David Ichan to be welcomed in Ward 5. Chairman, I don't know. The truth about the matter is that you people never tell us what is the problem of Secondus. Because I remember that when Ebonyi State Governor came to APC, he pointed a accusing finger to our governor here. The same thing happens to Cross River Governor. He pointed an accusing finger, apart from Zamfara State Governor. And you can imagine, since all these problems started, I can tell you that the young man, called Secondus, has kept to his scam. I remember when a news carried it out that him and governor met in a birthday party in a place. And a guy decided to insult him there, but he never raised voice. The person I want to ask you, if you are in the shoe of Secondus, and all this pressure is upon you, could you be able to tell us that you cannot be able to utter any word, and yet you keep your quiet? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, let me just mention what you said about this public secretary of PDP. It wasn't the public secretary of PDP, the PDP people in Andoni that talked about attraction of projects to their place when they had their press conference yesterday. Like I did mention, there are quite a lot of things that came up. Andoni people, of course, they have their issue to sort out in terms of what has happened to them and their senior brother. This was one of the issues they mentioned. And of course, I told you from the party perspectives what the party considered as corrosive and injurious to the party. And that was why decisions... Former national chairman is from Rivers State. If he comes outside, they will say it's the governor of the state. You
don't have to attend to that again.
Thank you so much.
You were extensive on that earlier on. George, hello, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Greetings to everybody.
Hello, George, you're welcome. Go on. Go ahead.
I want to ask a pertinent question. The last local government PDPS that just passed, that just have passed. Please, they've not been given any form of incentive or anything from the state. I want to ask the chairman, why is that?
George,
I don't understand. What's last PDPS go?
Yeah, the local government PDPS that just passed. They just have them passed.
Well, I don't understand what you mean by incentive, so that I can clearly get you.
Please. Well, I regret to say, but that does not fall within the context of what's being discussed right now. So, to that caller, if there are any incentives you think you need to get as a member of the party, I'm sure you have appropriate channels to take that too. John from Eneka, hello, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Dayo.
Straight to your comment to question.
Yeah, my question is...
And turn down the volume of your radio set, please.
Yes, my question is, if Secondus has been reported to have been doing all these things, what he did that affected Ebonyi State Government school, for what the chairman said, and then from what happened in Cross River, why is PDP hierarchy? Why do they not raise the alarm? Why do they not call and let populists know what is going on? That they kept it quiet. Now that convention is coming in, and then with the interest of the governor, everybody is aware all these things that is playing out is because of the interest of the governor. Why did they not raise alarm that time? The Secondus has not been paying his dues and all the rest. Why did they not raise alarm that time? How will it be now? If your daughter, your son goes out and misbehaves, and you did not try to control him that time, and it is when there is crisis you are not talking, it's a big shame. Our politicians have not learned anything in this country. Is it this PDP that will rule us tomorrow? It's terrible.
Oops. John, I apologize. I thought you were done already, but good to hear from you anyways. But we do have to wrap up the conversation in a moment. So, Chairman, I want to ask you this. Can the chairman or the former chairman, can he be suspended at his ward level? Can the national chairman of the PDP be suspended at ward level, as has happened now?
Of course. Of course.
So nothing is amiss, nothing is wrong with the process.
It's only the national that will be able to say, no, stop this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to wrap up the conversation. What should, especially your members of your party at home here in Rivers State and national as well, what should they expect of your party going forward in the next few months and in the build-up to 2023?
Well, of course, the good news to our party is that, yes, we had a hiccup. We had a situation that ordinarily would have been able to cause some major disarray in the party, but the party elders rose to their position and they intervened. Right now, the acting national chairman is handling the issue. We are ready for the convention. The venue is Abuja. The convention is on 30th and 31st of October. And all the submissions for convention committees, zoning committees, and the delegates for the elections, the submissions are being made now. For us, the party is ready. Most states, we've concluded our ward conventions, LGA conventions, and congresses and state. We are ready. While, of course, look at our opponents on the other side. I'm sure you know what is going on. They find it really difficult to conduct their ward congresses. So I believe that PDP is still the choice of the people. We have seen the two sides of the coins. We compared to where we left this government a few years ago and where we are today. Nigerians have the choice to make. But I can tell you, majority of Nigerians are waiting for PDP.
And very briefly, if you don't mind, aspirations of members of a party here within the state, other members, maybe aspirations as to who becomes the next governor and all that. Is there any interplay between all of that and what's playing out right now?
For this state, I can tell you we have a collegiate system. Governor had mentioned it several times that elders will sit together, look at those who are interested, and allow our delegates to take decision.
All right, so should we expect any of the drama playing out at the national level to play out here within the state as well?
The state is a little bit more organized because, like I mentioned, the elders committee are so robust, formidable, that they're able to intervene on issues of who governs the state.
Well, not as we wrap it up.
But the person, of course, must come from People's Democratic Party. That's the next governor. That one I can assure you.
We'll see how that goes. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, especially my guest, PDP's chairman here in Rivers State, Ambassador Desmond Akawor. Many thanks for your time. Wish you and the party the very best.
Thank you so much. Anytime you invite me, I'll be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers, and thank you those who've been listening to us. We're grateful.
Commercial break right now. The news updates at 5. And when I return, voter apathy. Nigerians interested in the electoral process. An official of Yaga joins me for that conversation. Please stay with us.